I'm Edmond Chan. I'm from GitLab and Solutions Architect based here in Toronto. I'm here to talk to you today about reducing DevOps cycle times to deliver value. So what does that really mean? Well, I've got 10 minutes, and I promise you I will stick to that 10 minutes and get you moving throughout the rest of the evening. Three main bullet points I want to talk about. One, why cycle times are important. I think that panel that spoke really touched on that as well, and so we'll link that together a little bit. Some of the things that we do at GitLab that enabled us to grow really quickly and accomplish what we're talking about, reducing cycle times to deliver value. And another part of it is the tooling to achieve that and how it impacts cycle times. 8 years ago, Mark Andreessen said, software is eating the world. Very famous quote. Really what it's about is that successful companies are reliant on software. You're not. If software isn't a big part of your plan, you're probably struggling or not in business anymore. Another quote from him, cycle time compression, maybe the most underestimated force in determining winners and losers in technology, is a little bit less known. And what I want to focus in on here is really the benefit to the two parties that come to making technology work for your business. One is the business side and what it brings to your business, and the other is the technology side. From a business standpoint, echoing back to the panel, being able to deliver smaller increments of work that actually change or provide benefit to your business is really key, right? In order to do that, you're decreasing cycle compression times. You're decreasing your cycle times. Gone are the days where you create these monolithic projects, hopefully, that are 6 months, 2 years long, only to get canceled in between. If you're delivering incrementally and you know you're showing value, there's no reason why people are going to want to cancel your project in between. So those are some of the benefits to the business, being able to do that. The last benefit is really around the customer, and I think this is an important one. We're all used to our cell phones and applications getting updated on the fly now. This is transcending not just the software that we're used to using, it's also going to downstream to things like cars that aren't supposed to be updated that quickly. Any Tesla owners in here? All right, so probably look forward to the next update and see if it's going to fix your brake problem, give you more acceleration or something else, right? That's transformative, that's very different. From an IT side, people who build these things, the people who operate and run these things, something that we need here too with cycle time compression. As we start to build smaller pieces, it may seem like we're juggling more pieces, but each of those pieces are a lot simpler to implement and roll through the process. Contrast that with juggling a whole lot of pieces, trying to make something work after 6 months of effort has been put into changing so many different aspects of your application. That's a nightmare. So cycle time compression will benefits IT in simplifying that. It also provides for more predictable progress. Most of us, we like to deliver on our commitments. We want to be able to say we're going to deliver something by a certain time. Without cycle time compression, very difficult for us to do that reliably. So why am I here representing GitLab talking about this? I think we've got a really good story that ties into this. We are a company that's grown from 9 people to nearly 1,200 in around 4 or 5 years. That's huge growth. We're also an all-remote company. We're located across 66 countries. And not only are we growing in terms of people, we're growing in terms of customers or revenues. Over 100,000 organizations use our platform. We have more developers, you can see down there, 2,500 developers, plus developers, who have contributed to our platform when we have less than 1,200 people and working for us. So that means that we're working with people not just internal to our organization, but external as well as an open source platform. This trajectory is taking us to a planned IPO on November 18th, 2020 for all the capital markets folks here. Very exciting, and keep an eye on us. So what do we do differently at GitLab? First thing, I want us all to be on the same page and agree on one thing. Meetings are expensive. We've all heard people say, probably guilty of saying it too, I've got back-to-back meetings today and I don't know when I'm going to have time to do any work. Anybody guilty of that? Yeah. So what do we do differently? We work asynchronously as much as possible so that we actually have time to meet when it's important. We use an issue tracker for everything within GitLab. We actually use GitLab to track those issues so that people can collaborate independently. You're going to get lots of oxymorons out of this. And we use other tools as well so that we can work collaboratively, independent of each other through different time zones, whether it's Google, like the Google Suite, G Suite, Google Docs, Slack, but a lot of it is all coordinated through our issue tracker. Moving on to meetings, because they are so important, there's something that we do with them that I think is a little different. I worked in a lot of different organizations, small and large, and this is what I've seen. First, we end all our meetings early. We don't schedule it to end on 30 minutes or on the hour. They end usually 10 minutes before. Whoops. So that we can actually start the next meeting on time. People need time to get from one meeting to the next, bio break, coffee, drink, whatever it might be. We share our presentations in advance so that meetings are used for discussions and Q&A, not so that you can present the presentation or talk, read through it at that time. That, of course, allows us to schedule shorter meetings so that we have more time to work. I know, mind-blowing concepts. It actually does work, though, when everybody's on the same page. And then we capture our shared notes in real time in a shared document so that we're not all typing the same thing. If we're transparent about what we're doing, it shouldn't matter. So this speaks to our values as a company. We call it our credit values of collaboration, results, efficiency, diversity and inclusion, iteration, and transparency, and we live this every day, every one of us. And finally, we record our meetings so that people who could not attend can view it and also review it afterwards. So that was more on the process side. Now we'll talk a little bit about the tool chain, how that limits a faster DevOps lifecycle. Who remembers the old days? When if I want to share a photograph with somebody, I would take it with a digital camera, or if I didn't care about quality, maybe my phone, connect it with a wire to my computer, transfer that file over into some picture management app, and then email that off to someone. We don't do that anymore, right? So many things we do differently now. We've got these great computers in our hands called, whether it's an iPhone or Android phone, and it has disrupted the whole industry. You've got social media, you've got ride sharing, you've got e-commerce. It's a single device that does all these things for you. It's broken down barriers. It's made it possible for you to do a lot more things more quickly, more efficiently. Who's involved in developing software here? Anybody? All right, so, good group. So each one of those logos up there, you probably have it in your org. In fact, you probably have 2 or 3 or more of logos for each one of those capabilities within your organization. Some of you may be quite optimized within the team, but from an enterprise standpoint, really difficult. Furthermore, you're handing things off from one group to the next. There's a lot of complexity in this, right? Going back to that cell phone, that ancient picture that we had from before. So what does this mean for you? In the interest of time, you're spending more time and costs acquiring the software, integrating the software, training people, context switching. It actually does break your productivity having to move from one app to another and move stuff around and look at different screens. And administration, maintenance, updates, new versions, things that are incompatible. We call this the tool tax, right? Multiple tools, very fragile integrations, things break, you've got outages, it hits your productivity in a very bad way. Really want to focus on the middle item here, right? Inefficiency. Handing off between teams, that's really the key to cycle time compression. It's reducing that wait time between things. We've all heard about how it just takes a couple of minutes to go ahead and update one thing. But when you look at the different people that need to approve it along the way, you look at the different touch points, you might have 2 weeks of waiting for 10 minutes of work. What we bring in GitLab is a single product that handles everything from, well, most things from A to Z, right, for software development. It's a single platform, single data store, so you can get insights into how much time you're spending in different areas. It's a single interface so that you don't have to learn different UIs, and a single conversation, single source of truth for all that information, so that you can collaborate effectively, so that you can also have governance and auditability around it. So if you can start to adopt some of these approaches to reducing cycle time in terms of being more transparent, more efficient in how you communicate, making better use of your meeting time, having fewer meetings, you can stand to improve your DevOps from what we call sequential DevOps to a concurrent DevOps. Being able to move from localized, local optimized teams to really an enterprise that's working more effectively and efficiently, having more visibility across those silos, working together asynchronously. And that's something this is something that we're very passionate about at GitLab. It's something that I and my colleagues would be happy to talk about in terms of that approach to working in a full remote company. And that's really what I had for you today. Thank you.